What up, what up, what up, what up? It's your boy Black Zach, and we are back with the second episode of Marathon Mondays. I'm kicking it. We're here to bring the inspiration, get the week started off right. Hopefully, if we don't drop you a jewel, we give you something informative. So I had to holler at my people. And on the screen I have right here. Now, me and my man's right here, we go way back. You know what I'm saying? We've been down like 4 flats on the Cadillac. Used to D-Town Boogie at the 1040 break when we was at NCCU, one of the freshest guys to come through on Chicken Wednesdays. Took me to the swing when I got to Durham and showed me the ropes and how to politic with the right people. I would be pissed if I didn't bring my dog in the right way. So I need everybody to stop what y'all doing. And if you're driving, put your car in park. If you're just getting up, put your phone down. I need y'all to give my man a round of applause. My man, Philip Branch.
Yo, what's going on? That's going on. I appreciate you having me, man. I've been seeing you do this podcast and making big waves, bro. So I'm just glad to be a part, my man.
Hey, man, listen, the purpose of this podcast, man, is to give people their flowers while they're here. It's to allow us to use our platform to, to talk about you, man. It's not about us. It's to talk about you, what you have going on, and the movement that you've been putting on for the last couple of years. I've known you for over 10 years, so I have watched the maturation of a young boy to a young man. You're a father figure now. Yeah. You're an entity. You're a CEO. Yeah. You're an artist. You're an author. So it's a lot of things that we need to talk about. You know what I'm saying? But first, man, before we get into it, man, we got to talk about some of these trending topics.
Let's get to it.
We got to talk about some of these trending topics. You feel what I'm saying? So first and foremost, you're a businessman. Look, Snoop Dogg just bought back Death Row. How do you feel about that, my boy?
Honestly, I feel like it's amazing because for me personally, that was my childhood. If you really think about it, like I was looking at the Super Bowl and I was telling people like that Super Bowl was really like for my generation, for real.
Right.
Like, older or younger wouldn't understand. Like those were the songs when we had in high school, junior high. Those were all warm-up songs. You know what I'm saying? The songs we were looking out to. So to see Snoop be able to take over that whole, thing, I really think he's probably the only one that could really bring some type of, continuation to it in a a profitable manner. You know what I'm saying? What artist is really gonna mess with anything Death Row until Snoop got it? You see what I'm saying?
Right. Hey, man, you're exactly right, man. Snoop buying back Death Row is monumental, especially from the standpoint, the relationship he had with Pac. So probably been able to get his hands on some of that unreleased music, some of those features. You know what I'm saying? With technology now, we could possibly get a Nip and a Pac song together.
Man,
you know what I'm saying?
Man.
You know what I mean? Right. So, so it's just being able, to really, like I said, like how our parents, like they love the Isleys and, the Temptations, so that's kind of like, we're starting to, get to that realm now where like, bro, this is our music, bro. Like, this is what we grew up on. You feel me?
I was looking at something earlier today and I caught myself saying back in the day. And then I was like, oh shit, I'm old.
Right.
I'm sitting here saying back in the day. So yeah,
man. Also Super Bowl weekend, man. We seen Kodak, man. Kodak get shot, man. We've lost a lot of rappers.
Yeah.
To senseless violence and situations like that. And, Kodak, thank God he survived, because one thing about them Haitians, boy, they would have been in LA something serious.
Serious. Yeah,
it wouldn't have been good. But first off, I'm happy that Kodak is still alive. We didn't lose another young brother to senseless violence. But it goes to show, man, like, bro, we're not untouchable. No matter how much money you get, you have to move different, man.
And I tried to tell somebody else this, but like, I got a real close story of that with my city with Mo3. Like I'm from Dallas, and so I was here when that whole thing happened. Waking up to it, seeing how the city responded, like it's a real thing. And the violence, we got to figure out a way to stop it, bro, because it is like now rap is becoming the most dangerous. That's crazy as that sounds. Being a hip hop artist is becoming one of the most dangerous professions to be in.
It is.
You know what I'm saying?
It is, especially if you winning, man.
Yeah, yeah, and
You
you
know, if
really
you winning,
got
you
to change
winning, man.
the circle. That's really what it is, because a lot of times, to be completely honest, and I can say from experience, with my dealing with having my own record label and stuff like that. So, and 9 times out of 10, when I seen instances happen like that, it don't be the artist that started, it be the entourage, and then
Right.
the artist feels like, well, I gotta be the artist. You know what I'm saying? It ain't about him being who he is as a person. He's like, well, I can't be Kodak Black and my boy starts something and I don't jump in. So now, you know what I'm saying? You crashing out over your homeboy who can never get a bag to feed the whole neighborhood. Like it just
It's senseless, man. It's
it really
senseless.
it
Now
really
look,
is.
you a hooper. You a hooper, right? Even though
Yeah.
I think I got the best jump shot on this here screen right now, but that's a different.
You know.
Hey, next time I'm in Dallas, bro, we're going to the court. We're going to the hood court. We shoot on the
Oh
hood, bro.
yeah.
Shoot, bro.
Yeah.
All right,
I'm gonna take you right to the
man,
phone. I'm gonna take you right to the phone.
look, man, there's some trades went down and some teams are starting to look different. You got Philly with
Yeah.
the process, and you got James Harden in Philly now
Yeah.
with Tobias Harris and the little point guard Maxey. You know, they're going to be a little problem. You got Kyrie, and Kyrie's kind of been some call him a renegade, some call him a leader.
Yeah.
Whatever the case may be, Kyrie and Ben Simmons and Kevin Durant, that seems to be a very formidable big three. But I don't think you can really sleep on Chicago with Lonzo and Zach LaVine and DeMar. You still have Milwaukee with the Greek Freak. They picked up Serge Ibaka. To complement those guys. So man, who you think?
Go ahead. I was just doing some thinking. Go ahead,
Yeah,
big.
who you think gonna come out the East, man? Who you think? Because I already know the chef is coming out of the West.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The chef is coming out of the West.
Chef Curry is.
So who you think gonna come out the East, man?
To be completely honest, I'm gonna have to go with Milwaukee still. Essentially because of I know me being a former basketball player myself. I know the confidence you have coming off a championship, and then I also know the type of camaraderie, the type of chemistry you have to even win one. Right. And although Brooklyn and Philly have gotten incredibly good both ways, to get that type of chemistry to win a championship in half a season is gonna be tough. Chicago, I like them, but I think that they're missing one thing that would really be like their game changer. But they're like right there. They're honest.
I think they're missing like a post prep. They need an enforcer.
They need an enforcer. Vujic is cool,
but he's a stretch big. But they need somebody that like, okay, listen, bro, we need 10 to 15 rebounds every game. You're gonna guard the other team's big man. Like you need to go Gobert.
They don't have somebody that, like you said, they fear. Most of those big teams, like even if you take
I forgot about Miami. About Miami with Bam and Duncan Robinson and Jimmy Butler. Like we can't sleep on it.
I like them. I just feel like they're kind of like that second round. They kind of like stuck at that second round place. I feel like that's just where they're at right now, and it's gonna be hard for them to see, especially Brooklyn. Really, to be honest, if we're talking future though, Brooklyn really won. I could see Brooklyn winning it next year if the Lakers don't get it together, but I could see Brooklyn winning simply because, well, number one, they about to lift the mandate in New York.
Right.
So Kyrie's about to be back full time. Right.
True.
You got Kyrie, you got KD, and the difference between James Harden and Ben Simmons is you got somebody who can do exactly what James was doing, but doesn't want to shoot. He wants to get the ball off. He wants to, you know what I'm saying? So that really opens up more shots for the killers, KD and Kyrie. Whereas James is going to try to get his 10, 15. All Ben trying to do is get 20 assists.
Right. it's gonna be interesting. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be interesting. Now, before we move on and really get into the nitty gritty, look, bro.
For
You
sure.
know,
For sure.
I have to ask you,
What's
what
going
was up with the dunk contest, man?
Bro, I feel like I don't want to say nothing because I'm gonna regret it when I'm on NBA special 5 years from now, and they gonna bring this up and they're gonna be like, "What'd you have to say about the dunk contest?" I'm gonna just say I plead the fifth.
I said it for you. It was trash.
Yeah, goodness gracious.
It was trash, bro. It was trash.
I'm gonna say I plead the fifth.
I got you, man. I understand. I said it for you. It was horrid. It was horrible.
I just think that they need some younger guidance as a part of who puts it together, like what's allowed, who, you know what I'm saying? Because they make all these rules now.
Feel me where I go with this. I think they should take like the best dunkers off the street.
Okay.
Like the top 3, right?
Okay. Like Jordan, like the Jordan Kilganon guy to be dunking behind his neck and
yeah. Like take the top 3 dunkers and they verse off against the top NBA dunkers. And you know, if the NBA's got to win, they got to donate the money to charity. But if the street guys win, you know, they get that paper. You know, life changing. You feel me? I think it adds another element of like a little surprise or something. Because like some of these guys jump in now, bro. You know, they got dunking down to a science, bro.
And that also, honestly, you know, that also could open up some eyes too to like, you know, some players don't get the politics to make it to the league. To be real, being in the league is politics too sometimes. So they could get, you know, some eyes on some players that may not have got that fell in the cracks. Like there's a lot of great players who fall in the cracks because of politics. You know what I'm saying? And
you're exactly right, my boy. You're exactly right.
So
look, man, we're gonna transition this thing into the nitty gritty. Now, you know,
for sure.
We see you as Philip Branch, right? I know you as Philip Branch.
For sure.
But let the people know who you are, man. You know, tell us a little bit background, where you from, you know, who is Philip Branch, right? Let us know.
I am a young Black king striving to show my people financial success, financial literacy, born and raised in Dallas, Texas. Graduated in 2004, ended up getting a basketball scholarship, ended up coming out there to play at North Carolina Central where I met you. Graduated on that scholarship in 2009 with a mass communications degree, a degree in mass communications. My focus was broadcast journalism. I kind of always knew I was going to kind of be in front of a camera somehow. I just didn't really know what it would be. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I always was good with being in front of people. Just, you know, we came up playing sports and I played kind of big time AAU. So I was always in front of big crowds and stuff like that. So I was kind of used to, you know, that whole thing. Graduated 2009, did a lot of ups and downs, you know, through life, just trying to figure stuff out. You know, been through homelessness, not having it all, losing it all, getting it all back, been through the ups and downs. So yeah, man, started a record label. Been running that since 2015, Triller Music Group.
So man, so like you seem to be a well versed young man. So let's tap into some things, man. So you got to NCC, you got to NCCU, you're a broadcast journalism major. How did you even hear about going to a HBCU? I know down in Dallas, in Texas, you know, there are a lot of HBCUs. So when did you get your HBCU experience where you knew like that's the route you wanted to go?
Well, it's actually a unique story. It's two-part answer to that question. So let me answer the first part. The first time I experienced the HBCU was in high school. We went down to Texas Southern for their homecoming in high school. They took like a bus of us kids down there for their homecoming. So this was when I knew it was different because, you know, I had been visiting colleges for basketball. You know, I was getting, you know, for scholarships, but they were all bigger schools. Right. This was my first experience with a HBCU. So while we get down there, somehow, I don't know how they let us in this college party, bro. We're 16 and 17 in basically like McClendon,
Right.
basically down in Texas Southern, bro, in a college party at like 16. I don't know how we got in, bro, but it's like
So you got your first little hit of that, and you was like, "Hey, I'm going."
it's up. But wait. It kind of made me just look more, but I'll give you a story, bro. But let me get to that part. So, bro, we're at this HBCU, so it's already wilding, women everywhere. I'm in heaven as a 16-year-old. I'm in
Right,
heaven.
as you should be. As you
You
should
feel
be.
what I'm saying? Bro, the thing about Texas Southern is a lot of Dallas people and a lot of Houston people.
Right.
And that's pretty much it. And they be beefing. So probably like the biggest brawl that I've ever seen in my life, bro, happens. I'm talking about from the gym to the football field. It's like 300 people fighting. But it was so turned though, because like it wasn't like people just paying attention to the fight. People was like dancing. It was just
Man, it's a whole experience, man. And so, we're in a generation now where we're actually starting to see the pendulum swing, back to the HBCU culture. So, for us to be able to experience that, and now everybody, is starting to really, open their eyes to the HBCU culture. It's like,
and let me talk about that though too, right quick, because I initially wanted to attend like a PWI. You know what I'm saying? So when I grew up, when I was in like 6th grade, and this is where my North Carolina experience gets interesting, and how I knew I was going to be, how the HBCU was much better for me, and it's probably much better for a lot of people for real. So when I was in like 6th, 7th grade, I actually went to the North Carolina basketball camp at UNC.
Okay.
And I had won MVP of the camp. This like 6th, 7th grade. Me and my homeboy went out there. And so I don't know if they still do it like this, but at the time, if you get MVP of the camp, they would bring you back for free to kind of try to keep you in their system. So if you ended up actually being something, they've already been having their eyes on you this whole time.
Right.
So the first year I got MVP. When it came to going the next year, my mother didn't want me to go out there by myself. I would have had to go by myself because my friend wasn't going with me. So she didn't allow me to go. But from that moment in my head, I was always like, I'm going to school in North Carolina. I'm going to school in North Carolina. You know what I'm saying? That was always my goal, D1 wise. Like, I'm going to play for UNC. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was my goal at the time. And so, me, God works in mysterious ways. He ain't going to always give you what you want, but he going to give you what you need.
You better say that there.
You know what I'm saying? So even though UNC might have been what I wanted at a time, what I needed was NCCU. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And based on location, where in Central is, right in the middle of all the colleges anyway. It was like we attended those schools anyway. So it wasn't, so it wasn't as like I felt like I didn't feel like I missed out on a bit, and I felt like I was able to truly enamor myself in my culture. You see what I'm saying? And I think that's a big thing. I tell people all the time, Black HBCUs are not the determinant of success, but they are the determinant of the continuation of Black culture. There's nowhere where they teach you in strong waves about your culture, about your history.
Right. Like, you're going to a situation where you're not a minority anymore. You're actually the majority.
Exactly.
So, it's definitely a plus to it, my boy.
It's a power in that because, to be completely honest, before I went to Central, I was at a school in Wichita Falls, Texas for a year. I redshirted my freshman year. My freshman year, I redshirted. So I went to a school called Midwestern State in Wichita Falls. Now, this is by far a PWI. You know what I'm saying? Like, by far. And I don't want to say it, but as a Black student, sometimes you almost feel powerless in a sense. because it's
Oh, I know exactly what you mean by that, bro. Like I did the PWI thing too before I went to a HBCU, so I know exactly what you're talking
yeah,
about.
you
And
feel
so what I'm gonna have to do is, as I work on, like, so I got something that I'm working on for our HBCUs. I'm gonna have to get you on there to talk about that experience, man. Especially, possibly with some of my students. You know, we can
yeah.
hook this thing up, and we can talk about that.
I would
So
love.
go ahead.
I said I would love to, bro, for real.
Say no more. So, like, let's move into this professional career because you have a lot going on, and that's why you're here. So, in the book, in the back, Become
Yes,
Rich.
sir. Become Rich. It's for you too on Amazon right now. Yes.
So, who wrote that book, my man?
Me.
You wrote that? No, I mean, like, I have to. You know, I know
Yeah,
you wrote the book, but
yeah,
our
yeah,
audience doesn't know you wrote the book. They see the
yeah.
book in the background. You know, the soft promo. We
Wow.
working on the marketing right now. You feel
Yes,
me?
sir.
So, you know,
Yes,
I'm saying
sir.
I'm wearing my brand, the Stone. You know, I got my
Fire
podcast brand
brand.
in the back.
Fire brand, by the way. You got that's really gonna do something. I'm telling you, bro.
Well, I need to talk to you outside of this. I got some things that I want to do. So,
Okay.
you know, I you've been a financial literature guy,
You
you
right,
know.
right. Okay.
Holla at me, you know what I'm saying? I got some ideas. But
We're gonna put it
Become
together.
Rich, man.
Uh-huh.
How did you get into financial literacy? You know, that's not always something that we've learned as a culture in our, you know, especially during our adolescence. You know, that's something that we learn trial and error, you know, as we're an adult. You know, you
Right,
and I were
right.
blessed to be in a situation where we went to North Carolina Central.
Uh-huh.
But, you know, we were right there by Duke, State, and Chapel Hill. So you were able to see young white men who were already affluent in finances and who were already putting money into Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies back in 2010, 2011. So
Right.
what really got your attention, you know, to really, you know, not just to know what financial literacy is, but to understand it?
Well, first, what got me into it, I moved to California in 2017 to try to expand on my record label, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, which was a great experience, by the way. It went well. Ended up getting music and movies on Netflix that are still up there to this day, like all types of stuff. So I went out there to expand on my record label, but once I got to LA, once I realized, or well, I finally realized, like, you could be the most talented person in the world, but if you don't have the bag to like the money to support being an artist, and what I mean by that is being able to, if you need to be in New York on Monday, then have to fly to Miami on Tuesday, then fly to Michigan on Wednesday, then fly. Basically, you got to be, and that's why a lot of times you see drug dealers, they usually are in the rap business because they got the money to do those things. Like, it's at a certain point where your talent doesn't matter no more. And that's why all the time we'll say we don't feel like this person that is talented is that person. It's because that person had the support, the financial backing to be able to make their career happen. So essentially what I was looking for was something that would help me back my music career and the artist that I was going to sign and, you know, get the whole record label thing going. So I had a few other options, but, you know, I was kind of tired of looking over my shoulder. So I was like, well, let me get into this Forex thing. I had seen a few friends doing it. I had already actually turned it down once because of how I was introduced to it.
Right.
But when I was reintroduced to it, I was introduced in a different manner, and it made it a bit more interesting. So I was like, well, if this is where they say the money at, and I also had a friend who I ended up running a company with for a little while in the Forex space. I had saw them doing it, and they were like, yeah, I just made 30 grand in like 15 minutes. And I was like, what? At first I thought he was the plug. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm finna fly to Miami. We finna get it popping. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But he was like, nah, I'm doing this Forex thing. It's real. It's legit.
So you mentioned Forex like 3 or 4 times.
Right.
Right. Explain to our listeners what Forex is.
Okay. All right. So Forex is short for foreign exchange. All right. I am a foreign exchange trader on the Forex market. What most people don't know that this is actually the largest and number one financial field in the world, period. Over stocks, bonds, equities, gold, anything you could think of. The foreign currency market is trading $6.6 trillion a day. The closest thing to it is the stock market, and they only doing like 400 billion depending on the day. But 6.6 trillion is traded daily within the foreign exchange market. So I trade foreign currencies from other countries against each other to make a profit, basically.
Hey, listen. Hey, listen. You're not the first person to do it, but
Hey,
you're the first person I know to do it.
hey,
Right?
that's
And
what's
so,
up.
like you said, when I first heard about Forex, it wasn't introduced to me, the right way. It almost seemed like one of those schemes. Like, bro,
That's how it was. That's how it was
bro, I gotta
introduced
pay
to
you
me.
to teach a class, bro. You on the internet? You gonna hit me every month? Nah, I'm cool. Right. But I've watched you and social media allows you to, keep up with your friends and see how they're doing. And
Right.
we've been able to watch you change your lifestyle. Right now, you're teaching classes, you're
Mhm.
educating people, and
Mhm.
you wrote a book on that.
Yeah.
Right. So, what inspired you? Like you're a basketball player, right? Former student athlete,
Right.
record label.
Right.
You change foreign, you trade foreign currency.
Mhm.
What made you dabble into the literature part of the game, where the education part of the game? And the reason why I say education,
Mhm.
because you are teaching, and
Yeah.
what you're teaching
Right.
will allow for people, black and brown people, to look like us, to start establishing generational wealth.
Right.
So,
Right.
so what put you in the mind frame that I need to put this on paper and give the game to my people so we all can eat?
Okay. So, essentially, it came through me becoming a educator in the forex field. Because you could simply be a trader, go on about your life, and that be that. But I got into the education side of it as well after I learned the skill. And truthfully, 95% of my students are of our community, of the ethnic community, black community, black and brown, however you want to look at it. And I started to notice that a lot of our people have misconceptions on what is actually happening in these fields, which is actually keeping them from doing it. Like one of the biggest misconceptions, like even with Forex, is that you have to have a lot of money to start, which is just completely untrue. You can literally start trading with $100. You see what I'm saying? But
Right.
most of these companies that'll try to get you signed up for a scheme and all this and all that, they make it sound different. But when you find out the truth, it's literally just the vocabulary that scares people away. So what I wanted to do was to, because I had so many of my students who they're like, yeah, it took me 6 months to jump into this, or it took me 8 months to jump into this. We're missing opportunities over that 6 and 8 months,
Right.
because of vocabulary, because a couple words that we didn't understand made us feel like this wouldn't be the field for us. When you don't realize, when somebody tells you what it is, 9 times out of 10, you like, that's it. That's all that is. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
I feel I understand exactly what you're saying, my boy. I definitely understand it.
so a lot of times I see our people missing those opportunities. And so that's why I wanted to write the book, because I wanted to be able to find a way to explain these things in layman's terms. That's the basis of my book, putting these financial areas in layman's terms so you can know how to get a start without feeling confused. You see what I'm saying?
I
And
definitely get. I definitely understand what you said. So, how long does a process take to write a book, my boy? Now, I know, like, not only do you have to gain the experience of being a trader,
yeah,
being in the classroom, understand the terminology, but
yeah.
how hard is it, right, to take what you got up here and put that in paper? Like,
It
how long is that process?
I'm not gonna lie, probably took me about a year to write the book.
Hmm.
And here's why, is because, well, number one, I've pretty much like dealt with all this different areas in the book, right?
Right,
Like I
right.
have, it's 17 chapters in the book. I break down like 10 different areas of finance that you can involve yourself in. I give you step-by-step ways to, get involved at a low cost, if any cost at all. Um, but it took about a year just making sure that I had the right information because I didn't want to give out wrong information. So I made sure that I dealt with everything that I talk about. Like for example, I talk about NFTs in my book, Become Rich. It's for you too, but a lot of people don't know. Not only do I talk about it in a book, but you can also get an NFT version of the book. So I created an NFT.
Man, stop playing with the people, man. You
Yeah.
got you got the book,
Yeah.
then you have the NFT version. So
Yeah.
listen, man, a lot of again, my platform is to entertain, but also educate.
Right.
So briefly, if you could, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Explain what an NFT is, because a lot of people, they're hearing about it. They see people snatching them up. For example, Tory Lanez, he dropped the album and he sold it for $1 as an NFT.
And sold 1 million of them in a day.
And sold 1 million of them. So like in 10, 20 years, if that becomes a piece of art or that price and that album rises, like whoever bought shares in that has just, it's almost like a Picasso to a certain extent, right? So just think about if they turn the Blueprint into an NFT or Reasonable Doubt into an NFT. So briefly explain to the people what an NFT is.
All right. So an NFT is short for non-fungible token, right? NFT, non-fungible token. And so what you're really focused on is the word fungible. What does fungible mean, right? So fungible means it can be replicated. Non-fungible means that it's one of a kind. All right. So a non-fungible token, for example, let's say we're taking something physical. Let's say some shoes that Michael Jordan played in a championship game, and then he signs them for you. That would be considered a non-fungible token. Why? Because you will never be able to get those specific shoes that he played in that specific game and signed it at that specific time. You know what I'm saying? It makes it one of a kind. And so that's kind of the same space, but digitally, in like the metaverse and in the new digital world. So let's say you buy a piece of artwork, right? You're buying it on the cryptocurrency chain or the blockchain, which gives it a timestamp. It gives it a unique code attached to the purchase, and that makes it a one-of-a-kind purchase. That means you'll never have another one like it. Everything is going to be a bit different because of how it was purchased on the blockchain. So this gives it value and resellable value at that, because it's one of a kind. So when you see all these people with these NFT pictures and NFTs, this, that, it's basically important and it's valuable because that's the only type that there is. You see what I'm saying? And so go ahead.
No, so you saying you cover that in your book. So what all do you cover in your book? So let's say, pretend I'm a novice, right? And you say, here, I want to school you to financial literacy. Here's this book that I wrote. In that book, what will be entailed in that book to break down financial literacy for me?
Okay, so I literally touch on 10 different subjects. I touch on Forex. I touch on cryptocurrencies. I touch on NFTs, real estate. I touch on content creation, which a lot of people don't understand is a great way to wealth these days, is being a content creator.
Oh, so you mean I'm in the right field with what I'm doing right now?
100%.
Oh man, Hey, I'm gonna need you to autograph me a book and send that to me, by the way. I'm gonna order mine anyway, so don't worry.
Content creation is definitely a way to get sponsorships, like big sponsorships. You know what I'm saying? A lot of collaboration deals where you get put out there as well as the person you get collaborating with. So content creation, if you notice, everything is visual now. Like you go to people's Instagrams, unless they're like a person like me, I just be putting pictures. But a lot of people Instagram, especially content creators, all videos. Everything is video now. So you are definitely in the right field for sure. I touch on the S&P 500, mutual funds, index funds. I also talk about other sides of investing that people don't think about.
What are some of those sides of investing that we might not think about? Because again, as a culture, a lot of us are first generation where we're actually investors. We're first generation people who are trying to understand financial literacy, and a lot of it. I want to make sure that we reiterate this: is that it's not to the fault of our parents.
It's not
all the time. A lot of it is systemic. Could we have done better? Could our grandparents and parents have done better with their finances? Yes,
right.
but understand they were working with what they knew and what was allowed to them. Where our generation, we're in a situation where now, man, we have YouTube, we have Twitter, we have Instagram, we have TikTok, and so many people are allowing us, they're giving us the game. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
Man.
For me, let me say this. For me, I think that the biggest thing that we want to pay attention to is emotions and psychology and how that plays into how we invest. Because a lot of people don't understand that we make a lot of decisions based on our emotion. And so I tell people all the time, before you get into investing, this is one of the other sides that people don't think about. Before you get into investing, and as crazy as it sounds, try to work out your traumas first. Like if you have like emotional trauma, psychological trauma, childhood trauma, those things can affect your decision making in an investing field. And people don't think about it like that. So if I'm just having a terrible relationship with a cousin or something like that, we always just getting into it, and then something happens and it reminds me of the situation with my cousin, but they really have nothing to do with each other. That's just your trauma kicking in. You see,
right? And it could possibly stop you from making a good business decision, because like, especially in our community, when it comes to the biggest thing to break up families in our community is money. So if I've had a bad experience with a cousin or a friend who I've tried to invest with, it would deter me when, I meet another young brother who may not, have malicious intent. He's just trying to put you on. Right. So let me ask you that, man. Right. How hard is it to really get us as a culture to believe in financial literacy? Because you out here giving the game away, right? How hard is it to get people to actually understand the concept of financial literacy, that it's not a scheme, that it's actually a skill?
You have to understand, especially for our community, it's harder to believe in financial literacy because for most of us, we went most of our lives not seeing finance, period. You see what I'm saying? Like imagine you've been living your life for 25 years, 27 years, 29 years, whatever the case, and somebody comes up to you and they like, yo, I got the key to becoming rich. But you've never seen any of the people that you trust in life, any of the people that you love, any of the people that you call dear friends, any of them involve themselves in it, much less even speak about it. It's gonna be hard for you to believe it. When you go to other entities or ethnic races, a lot of times they're already dealing with this. For example, just to give a quick example, and this is part of the psychology part that I tell people was, as for let's take black folks compared to some immigrants, like come from like Ireland or from Australia or something like that, right? Mm-hmm. Majority of our people, from what we know, we aren't here by choice. We were here by force. So our history doesn't involve coming in and going through a process, right? A lot of us, we know America and our slaves. That's us. So for somebody who comes from Australia, right? When you come to Australia, you say, I want to live in America. What's one of the first things you have to do? You don't even have to be able to speak English, but you got to do this.
I don't know. Pass COVID test?
Nah, that too. But yeah, but you got to be able to exchange your money. You can't spend Australian money over here. You have
Right.
to exchange the Australian currency, the Australian dollar, into the American dollar. This is a process of foreign exchange. And so these kids that are 13, 14, 15 moving over here from the other countries to America, they're getting this understanding of the exchange of currency and how it can inflate or deflate through the process of you changing in the coming into the country. Like, for example, let's say I got $100, right?
Right.
And I say I want to go to Australia. So I give that $100 to the exchange. I say I need my Australian dollars, $100 worth. I go over there and I don't spend it. I don't spend it. When I come back and I say, hey, here's that 100 that you gave me. I go back to the exchange. I say, here's that 100 worth of money that you gave me before I left. I want my 100 back. There's a possibility that you'll get more than $100 back,
Or less than
$100 back.
Okay, so I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying about that.
And so what I'm saying is there are a lot of people who use that process to their advantage to make money. But you would have had to know that it does that first to even think about that. You see,
so now you tapping into some whole other things that
it's deep.
You know, because on my podcast right now we're focusing on Black economics,
right,
as we have our networking events.
Right.
So my brother, I'm definitely gonna have to get you back on here. When we really tap into the finance thing, and I have just the finance gurus on here, and we're talking and giving game on the Marathon Monday. So look, man, we're getting close to wrapping it up. I got a few questions that I have to ask you. These are just some bonus questions, man. So,
go ahead.
Just chill out. So I didn't put these on the itinerary on the script because I didn't want you to have time to think.
Yeah. Okay.
So you in the South, right? You in the South, right?
Oh,
born and raised in the South.
Born and raised.
Give me your top 5 artists out of the South. Yeah, quickly. Come on now.
Gotta be Weezy.
Okay.
Out the South.
Yeah.
Gotta go with Scarface.
Okay, Face Mob.
Yeah, Face Mob for sure. I'm gonna have to say UGK as a collective because they just meant so much to Texas. Like that's,
okay, I see you.
I gotta go with T.I. because grew up on T.I. Like that was my dog. And we talking about South artists. 5th, I might gotta go Outkast or Dre 3000.
Ooh, I think you can arguably. Okay, so I give you that, right? I give you that. That's out the South. Now I'm making it a little harder for you.
Okay.
Give me your top 5 out of Texas.
Ooh. Okay. Oh. Face Mob for sure.
Okay.
Top 5 out of Texas. We're gonna go Face Mob. We're gonna go Pimp C.
Okay.
We're gonna go. Now, one of these people you might know. Might not know. I'm gonna put in 5th, but I'm gonna just to be real, just because I'm not a hater, I'm gonna have to say Yella Beezy, only because he's really the first one to really, outside of DOC back in the Death Row days, he really the one that's only put Texas out there on a wild scale for Dallas specifically, my city. You know what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying because Mike Jones and Paul Wall and Fat Pat and DJ Screw, they're all Houston.
Right, and so
Houston.
I can pick who I like out of that because you got Pimp C, you got Bun, you got Face. I could stop with Houston right there and then come to, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I gotta go throw Yella in there. And then lastly, just because this was one of my favorites going up, Z-Ro for sure.
I like Trey the Truth.
Listen, most people don't even know. Most people don't.
They used to rap together. They used to. Come on, bro, man. Come on, dog. You already know we've sat down and had some long talks about music, man.
Yeah.
All right, look, before I let you go, man, because everybody just thinks I'm just so cool, comic. Cause like I be telling my bro, there's a wild side, bro. What is the crazy thing you see me do?
Ooh. Oh God. Oh, you making me go back in the tank, bro. bro. Okay, I remember because remember most people don't know you was a fitness coach for a long time.
Right.
You actually were my coach at one point.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Bro, if I don't, dog. Okay, I remember this specifically because bro just thought he was hot shit, and you was excuse my language, and you was the new coach, and you came in. And bro, when I say you like fried this dude, but
hey man, listen,
the funniest part, it was in front of like 15 females, bro. Where you like fried, bro, so hard. He just thought he was up.
Hey bro. Man, listen, you know, I stay ready. You know, I keep one in the chamber.
Bro. It was bad. Like we was really laughing at this dude like for weeks because he thought he was tough, he thought he was hot, and you kind of just like flamed him in front of all the females and they was laughing at him. Bro, that was a funny day. I'm trying to remember who it was. That's why
we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. All right. So listen, man, first and foremost, man, look, I really appreciate you accepting the invite to come on Marathon Mondays to talk about not just who you are, but what you got going on, especially the book, Become Rich, is for YouTube. Where can they purchase that book at, my man?
Again, they can find it on Amazon Books. You can get it for $9.99 for the ebook, $14.99 if you want the paperback version. You can also find it on Rarible. That's where you can find the NFT versions that also come with unlockable content. Again, it's very important, guys, that y'all get financial information from wherever you can, whether it's from me, from anybody. All it is the lingo, guys. If you can just get past the lingo, you'll realize it's way easier than you think. And that's what I did in my book. I broke it down in the layman's terms so you can take these steps a lot easier. So,
well, listen, man, I think what you're doing is definitely important in our community. It's good to see young brothers our age grabbing the bull by the horns and being the leaders, you know, of the financial institutions, of the financial schooler. You know, a lot of us may not understand, you know, what financial literacy is, but because we have young brothers like you who have taken upon themselves to do the due diligence for their community, you know, it really means a lot. And so it means I'm glad we were able to get you on our platform. Hopefully this is not the last time we get to work together, but I'm gonna hit you up because I got some things that we could definitely do for homecoming with the brand. So look, man, Phil, I really appreciate it, man. I wish you all the success. I'm gonna be ordering my book from you personally, bro, and I want an autograph and everything. And let me know how to get the NFT version as well.
For sure. Let me just tell them also, family, you can follow my social media and all that other, but also Millionaire Minds University. Follow that on Instagram. Millionaire Minds University. Not only am I giving financial tips, advice, but I'm also giving pointers, motivation, things you need on a daily so you can, kind of keep your mind to the fire. You know what I'm saying?
And he really is for real, because the boy be flying around in a private jet on the low, but don't be wanting to tell nobody.
I just got off one. I ain't even gonna lie, but I ain't gonna tell nobody. I ain't even posted yet. Look, I ain't even posted yet because I don't.
Hey, you supposed to, man. It ain't even a flex when you do what you do, man. So look, dog, I appreciate it, man. Thank you again, bro. Peace and love, man.
All right, bro. Love, bro. Have a good day.
Love, bro.